Welcome to Seed to Plate, From Scratch Cooking with Laura Lawrence.
All right, are you guys ready to get started with creating an actual starter from start to finish? So today is the very beginning, the very first step of what you do and how we get started with creating sourdough. And what I like to say is this is your first step to creating bread independence, right? So if you can start creating sourdough at home or even any kind of bread and no longer buying at the store, how cool is that, right? Like, super awesome. So I'm so excited that so many of you guys have decided to join the sourdough challenge. It's going to be teaching those who have never been with sourdough before or it's been a while. We're going to be starting with the very first step of creating that starter all the way to the artisan loaf. So we've got a lot of steps in between those two things. So I need you to be very patient with the process because sourdough is a natural thing. It's not an instant thing. It's not fast food. It's not instant yeast. It doesn't happen right away. So I'm going to build very slowly on purpose each specific day of what we're doing without jumping way ahead to where, like, how do I do the stretch and folds? How do I do a scoring? How do I, proof and whatever else? We're not going to focus on all those things. We're going to start at the very beginning and we're going to have our exercise our patience, right? And we're going to build every single day because I'm going to be creating a starter with you guys and showing you in the videos each day on how mine's looking and comparing to yours and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind to be very patient, and you probably have a lot of questions and you probably are thinking this whole endeavor of sourdough is complicated and scary, and I am very sure to tell you that that is not even the case at all. It's extremely simple, but you do have to start, and you have to start patiently because it does take, it could take a week to 3 weeks to get your starter to where it's active and bubbly, where you can actually start to use that to bake breads and different things that need to rise. And in the meantime, we have this stuff called discard, and I'll talk about that in a few days later on when we start to build up this discard. But everything's going to get explained, and we're just going to take it very slow, step by step. You're going to learn to what the process is, and you're going to learn how to appreciate how flour and water and the yeast that's in the air is going to be creating something delicious, nutritious, and fabulous. So those are all my little things first. So we're going to talk or get started with today, specifically with starting our mixture of our starter today. So that's going to come at the very end of the video here, where I'm going to show you exactly how I'm starting mine, and you're going to follow. Okay, today is the day that we're going to start our starter. This is the first day of creating that bread independence, being able to make sourdough bread at home that's healthy for you. Just take back that control from those crazy bread products that are at the store that you can start making at home. And sourdough is fabulous and wonderful to work with. So this is our first day. So congratulations on getting to this point. We have a little bit ways to go till we get to start making big loaves of bread and stuff like that. But this is the first day. Talked about this in the previous part of the video about just having that lots of patience, because it does take time for this stuff to get activated and the yeast from your kitchen and the air to start working. But these are the things that you need to get started. Super simple. A spatula, this one works really good. I got it from Walmart. It's tall and it reaches in there good, and it's a smaller one. You can use any kind of spatula, a spoon. I've used knives. It doesn't really matter. You can use a glass jar of any size that you want. I like the wide mouth the best, just so you can get it in there easier, but it doesn't really matter. So like whatever you have on hand, just go ahead and start making this. And then you just need about a cup of flour, and you don't have to worry about measuring exactly. This is about a half a cup, or this is a cup of flour in here. I'm going to use about a half a cup of water as well. So, and then you just need this, like this is just a piece of cheesecloth that I'm just going to throw on top. You can use a coffee filter. You could use just any kind of breathable towel that you have or anything like that. It's really just to kind of keep out dust, but yet be able to grab the yeast that's in the air and stuff like that. So you don't want a hard lid at first until you get your starter established. So that's why we're just using something that's breathable, right? But keeps out some of the dust. And if you don't have anything, just leave it open. I'm all good with it. So we're just going to go ahead and get our flour in there, and feel free to be messy and dump it in there, whatever. So it's a cup of flour. There's a couple different ways to start your starter. Some people feed more often and use less flour. We're just going to go ahead and do it one time a day. So we're just going to put in our cup, or 1 cup of flour, and then about we're going to start with a half a cup of
water there. We're just going to give it a stir. I brought a little extra just to make sure I had enough on hand. And you can see it's pretty thick and chunky. I don't want it quite that thick and chunky. We're going to just water it down a little bit more. We're kind of looking for a pancake consistency. Again, this stuff it does not have to be exact. We don't have to measure anything in grams. It's just about 1 cup of flour to half a cup of water. You're just going to give this a good stir like this. And you don't have to get all the chunks out, but, you know, do a good job of kind of whipping it in there and stuff like that. So here's kind of like what it looks like this right here. So I'm just kind of looking for that kind of consistency. And I would prefer it to be a little wetter than drier than the dry chunk. So you want to make sure, you know, you can even add a little bit more water. It doesn't matter. And then we're just going to scrape this off like this. Just kind of pack it in there. Get rid of your spatula. You're going to go ahead and just put your cover on like that, and you are going to sit this out on your counter, and we're going to come back tomorrow and do almost the same thing. We're going to talk about discarding and what to do with that. So you're just going to, again, tomorrow, just going to need the exact same stuff. You're going to need a cup of flour, half a cup of water, this bad boy right here, and we'll get doing the day number 2. So congratulations on taking that first step of bread independence.